Hey guys, welcome back. This is Donna Sharp with Holistic Wellbeing. Thank you so much for joining me here on day 484 of doing these lives with the continuation of speaking about how we can foster a great relationship with our children at home. So my question for you tonight is, have you ever wondered what type of system you can have at home to develop that would help to make things much easier for your children to understand the process that they're going through? Well, that's what I'm going to speak with you on tonight, and it's going to be from the book Three Steps to a Strong Family. It's by Linda and Richard Erie. And so they're going to go in detail a little bit as to how they created a system just to get everyone involved. So I'm laughing because I just got finished looking at a couple of funny memes, and I'm laughing hysterically because I'm just amazed at the things that people think about and what they actually put out there. But I tell you, it actually softens the spirit of many, and it just, I don't know, it just creates a whole new meaning for doing certain things, I have to tell you. But I wanted to speak tonight of, it's called Learning to Earn, and it's the PEG system. So we're going to talk about the PEG system and just go through and give you some ideas that you may be able to use at home and try it for yourself with your own children and see how that works. Now, I don't know what level of age your children are right now. I don't know how old they are, whether they're really young, they're in between, or they're older. But it's kind of interesting for me to share with you that even when the children are older, they're young adults, they still sometimes don't have it down packed. So it's okay. Still speak to them about it. I don't know if some of the process I'm going to speak on tonight, you're able to try it with them because they're older, but maybe they can use it for their generation. All right. So we spoke last night about the economy and how important the economy is. And if we don't have a way to work, we won't have a way to eat. Okay. So the economy is all about earning money. We spoke about the comfortable ways for children to be able to have the ability to do that so they can earn money on their own and they're not dependent on their parents all the time. But it's not so much dependent on the parents, it's also getting that sense of independence so that they can learn for themselves how to do certain things because they're going to develop their own style. Not always mom and dad's way of doing things is the way that they enjoy doing it. So it's nice to teach them and have them add their own flair and own way of doing things. They're not going to be the same as you are. I'm going to tell you that right now. Oftentimes parents expect their children to grow up being just like them, or, going through a particular value system the same way that they did. And I'm not saying value systems should be avoided, but in some respects, some parents may not necessarily have the correct things that they're teaching their children, so you don't want them to pick up bad habits either, all right? But they're going to have their own flair and their own way of doing things. I encourage you to allow them to be open-minded, very flexible, but still following the main guidelines, all right? So when children earn their own money, what happens? They typically are, they feel great, number one, and number two, they oftentimes wonder, man, this is a lot of work just to get a couple of dollars after a full shift, right? So they grow in appreciation, right? They grow in appreciation. And they see that money doesn't grow on trees. I mentioned last night that some children think just go to the backyard, ask your mommy and daddy, and they just go and just pick something off the tree and give you some money. That's not how this works. You have to work hard for what you have. But also last night I spoke about when you do earn that money, you teach them how to make money for themselves. Teach them also how to save it and also reinvest it, because they have to have something under the mattress for the next 6 months in the event something takes place. And you guys are very, very familiar with that right now. So basically, their efforts and the things that they buy with it are perceived to be more appreciative because this is something that they've actually earned on their own. So I'm going to speak about 3 steps in setting up the system, the family economy system. The first one is having a family discussion about earnings. You have to make sure they first understand. Never take for granted that they understand exactly what you're speaking about. I often mention that you have to let them put it in action for themselves, because that's how they're going to really embrace it and move forward with it. They won't embrace it enough if they haven't actually experienced what it's like and also experienced some of the pitfalls that's involved in the process. So I think that's a wonderful thing, right? We're going to talk about creating a pegboard, and basically what it is, it's a recording system that helps children to keep track of their responsibilities. It's a system to help children to keep track of their responsibilities. Hi, Mr. Ted. I saw you pop up there. So when they have a way to track what they're doing, this is an accountability process, because if they're going to do a bunch of things throughout the week and they haven't tracked anything, they haven't, a lot of times in my lives, I often speak about how do you set up your day. And that's basically having a to-do list. This is how I function. You don't have to do what I do, but I find that setting up a to-do list really helps me to accomplish many of the things that I'm trying to get off of my list. When I don't have a to-do list, or anyone does not have a to-do list, then the chances are you staying focused is going to be slim. You're going to float. You're going to go from here to there. The phone's going to ring. You're going to answer the phone. And you're going to get involved in things that you shouldn't be getting involved in at a given time, and sidetracking you from getting to accomplish the goal that you've set out to do, right? So they speak here from this book about setting up a PEG system which helps the children to stay on track and keep track of their responsibilities, right? And I think a lot of young adults still have a hard time doing that. There's things that they have that they might not have gotten done. And why is that? Because you're not keeping track of it. And a payday, when they receive their earnings, how will they perform their assignment? It's basically based on the performance that they did to earn the money that they do. When you're at work, you're not necessarily going to get a nice raise because they just like to see you come in there. You have to make sure that the job that you're doing is something that's meeting up to code, up to specs, right? It's meeting a company's expectation. They're not going to reward you for bad behavior. So if they're going to do that at work, why not have the same procedure at home? Because you want to make sure that your children are staying on track. And how do you get them to stay on track and stay motivated? Is by getting them to see that there's a bunch of items that we have to get done, all right? And when you get it done, here's the rewards that you're going to receive. You don't get just rewarded for things that you don't get accomplished, all right? So learning to earn is a PEG system that they speak about in this book, The 3 Steps to a Strong Family. And it involves setting up a process to assist children with keeping up with their responsibilities. I think they get a better sense of accountability and feeling of personal gratification when they can actually see it, they get it done, and they're watching it actually go through the entire process. I think it really works well for them, right? So basically, I'm going to share some of these steps with you. But first, let me just say, a children's perception. Children have little idea of how much work it takes to run a household. They feel that things are just going to have this whole robotic sense. The dishwasher is going to come on by itself, right? The floor is going to get swept by itself. Boy, if they could do that, I know very well that they would take full advantage of that. But how do they appreciate that years down the line is by just physically getting your hand in it, getting your hand dirty, and doing it themselves. Some people, and as you're growing up as adults, I'm sure there were some things that you didn't gravitate to very well. Maybe you didn't like to iron. Maybe you didn't like to wash dishes. Maybe you didn't like to mop the floor, right? Don't clean bathrooms. Some people just have certain things that they gravitate more to and a little bit less of others. But guess what? All of it is involved in caring for the household. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So they often lack the added security and feelings of self-worth that comes from doing and sharing and assuming responsibilities. When they don't share the responsibility, they can't feel that sense of attachment with it. So you want to make sure that they're fully getting involved in all of the process, all right? So how do we do that? First thing to consider when setting up the family responsibility is you want to make a to-do list. And it's funny because we just spoke about a to-do list, and I feel it's super, super effective. For me, it's that sense of gratification that I just got 4 things done. I don't know about you. It's that physical checking off that item and saying, you know what? I had 10 things on my list today and I got 5 of them done. Because you know that you're moving ahead to something else because you're quickly getting these items completed. So it's that sense of gratification. So you're going to start off with a to-do list of what to do, what's needed to run the household. Believe it or not, some children may not be aware of what it takes to actually keep the household in order. There is a lot of things. My hats go off to those stay-at-home moms or the stay-at-home dads because, hi Manuel, thank you for joining, welcome. My hat goes off to the stay-at-home moms and also to the stay-at-home dads. Why? Because they understand what it takes from day one, right? From the beginning, from the morning, the time they get up until the time they go to bed to manage a household. So we're going to talk about some of those items tonight because we want to make sure that as you're spending this time bonding with your children, it doesn't matter what their age is, they're probably a young adult and still don't know how to do some of the right things, that they understand that everything is a process when it comes to managing the household, right? So keeping some of the ideas that I want to share with you is like keeping the family room in order. They want to make sure that they're making a list separate for each room, right? They also maybe need to understand how to prepare dinner, what goes into preparation of dinner. It might sound like a simple thing, but guess what? You need to go grocery shopping. You need to make sure you have the right things. You need to make sure you understand how long it's going to take. There's cleanup after it. These are some of the things that children of today don't consider. So when they do actually get their hands wet and they go in the kitchen for themselves, they're saying to themselves, oh my goodness, I just spent 3 hours in the kitchen. How did that just happen? So by doing the to-do list and managing your time appropriately, you'll be able to see how these things work in conjunction with each other and what it takes to actually get the results that you're looking for. So other things include such as washing and drying of the dishes, mowing the lawn, garbage removal, taking care of laundry. That's a process within itself. I spoke about things that some of us don't necessarily like to do as adults. So how do we expect our children to like it? They have to find where they feel most comfortable. Some people don't necessarily like to wash clothes. And then you may hear another set of family members that may say, I don't mind washing. It's the folding part that I don't care for, right? Or the ironing part. So you'll find that everyone gravitates to certain things. Other items in and around the house may include grocery shopping and also earning money to make sure that they're preserving it for food and for emergency timelines such as this. So once they've created this list now, what it does, it creates a visual. Like I said, I'm very visual. I don't know about you guys. I have to see it, touch it, embrace it, hug it, because that's how I am going to learn it. For whatever reason, for me, that visual, that audible, that sense of touch, it just draws it into my memory much easier. You can explain it to me all day long, and I'll listen and hear all the steps. But until you tell me, listen, I want you to get into the driver's seat because that's what I want you to feel this. I want you to feel it for yourself, experience it for yourself. Then that's how I learn best. But everyone's not the same. Everyone learn at a different pace, right? Some people, it may take much longer to grasp it. Others, they see it the first time and they grasp it right away. So it all depends on the person. But it creates a nice visual aid to have. Can you imagine if you have a nice big chart and you have all of these items listed on this chart so everyone in the house can see it? They can go back to it and say, oh, we just knocked off 3 items off that list. So it's a sense of everyone working together and getting these items done. The next thing you want to do is have a family discussion. Because remember, when you're all trying to work together, remember, let me go back to the title of what we've been speaking on the past 2 weeks. It's how to create a strong family. And how do we do that? We have to have communication. We have to understand there's certain disciplines involved. We have to take into account how fast individuals actually learn, what they're picking up on, what they're not getting, and all of those things. So in order to do that, he recommends from this book that you have a family discussion, right? Because what you want to do is explain what their jobs are to do and what needs to be done. Everything needs to be clearly explained. You never want to just jump into all of these roles and say, okay, everyone get to work. And everyone's looking around and you're thinking, oh my goodness, they should understand how to do this already. That's the whole process of this, because you never want to assume a person knows what you're thinking or what you're more experienced in doing yourself, right? So explain their roles and their jobs, right? Everything has to be done. You want to make sure that's made perfectly clear to them. We can't just do part of these chores on this long list and leave the rest for 6 months from now. That's not how this works. It all has to be done. And then share how to make the family, what it does is shares how to make the family more happier and more at ease, because everyone now will feel more comfortable getting certain things done. And one of the things it assists with is preventing people from overlapping with each other and crossing paths with each other and bumping into each other and saying, okay, I'm supposed to be doing that. It just offers clarity to what everyone needs to get done, right? So select a few items from your list, discuss what needs to happen if it was not done. Could you imagine if you didn't wash your dishes for 4 months? What would happen? They may think of it as something very simple and trivial. We didn't get a chance to wash the dishes in the morning. You come home again lunchtime. We didn't get a chance to wash the dishes in the lunchtime. And then dinner time, same thing. Try carrying it on for 5 days. What do you think will happen in your kitchen? So you want to make sure that you give them, you paint that nice, clear visual with them, because to them it might seem like a one simple thing that didn't take place in one day, but when that compounding effect takes place and it adds on for several other days, it becomes a serious issue, a serious issue, right? So select a few items on the list, discuss what will happen if it's not done. The same goes with the lawn. What if you didn't mow the lawn for 6 months? I think you would get kicked out of your neighborhood, and you'll receive a what do you call those things? A homeowner fee for not upkeeping your lawn, right? So you guys get where I'm going with on this. I don't have to give you any other examples. The compounded effect is not the best choice, right? So discuss how some of the jobs may take longer than others. Some may get an assignment that is finished in a short time and others may not. But I would encourage to rotate that list, so when you do it again, the person that might have gotten the longer task will get a shorter task and vice versa, so they can, again, get the appreciation for each task and understanding what's actually involved in it, because every single thing will be different, all right? You want to also make sure you speak to them about school, because school and doing homework, and discuss with them the importance of receiving an education and just being literate to some degree, because you want to make sure you have some common sense. Because you can have the book knowledge all you want. If you don't have a little common sense, it's not going to merge well. So having the education, the know-how as far as how to spend the money, because after a while, and you're teaching them all these great things to do, they're going to take these same things, not the same list of items. They're going to take it into their corporate jobs or whatever job that they have, and they're going to follow the same process, but it's going to be different items on the to-do list to get done. But the discipline that's behind getting these items done, they can now transform it into their work environment and see that by accomplishing these goals, they'll not only get just a pat on the back, they'll get a raise, they'll get an improvement in their job that they're doing. They'll give them a raise to another level. You just never know where it goes from there. So discuss the importance of education with them, so they understand that now when they're actually at work, they're going to earn money for what they're doing, but it was backed by some of the values that you taught them at home, right? So list each of the tasks of course, the parents are going to have the heavier tasks than the children, because that's your responsibility. You're gradually bringing them in, and you're showing them by getting into this mode and this frame of mind before they actually get their own children into the world. It's going to make it an easier process for them, right? So children will leave knowing that their involvement in each of the tasks and the importance of sharing small pieces of the pie contributes to the family as a whole. So listen, guys, that's what I wanted to share with you this evening. As I mentioned, I have been speaking from the book, 3 Steps to Creating a Strong Family. And the purpose of this is to allow you to take some of the time that you've had at home. If you have children, it doesn't matter if they're young, they're adolescents, or they're young adults. There's things that you might have missed teaching them as they were maturing through life. So what better time to do that than now while you're at home, establishing a bond with them, continuing to teach them things that you might have missed over the years, and just giving them that sense of encouragement and that backing that they're going to need to go out into the world, because the world will take them and chew them apart if they're not prepared. So my name is Donna Sharp. I am your transformational wellness life coach. As you know, I've been doing these lives since January 1st of 2019. So there's 484 lives available to you here right on Facebook. The topics have generally been different, but I typically focus on how to foster a great mental process, how to eat correctly, and how to exercise. As you know, I've been in the exercise industry for over 25 years, so I'm very passionate about what I do. But remember, guys, by me sharing these items with you, it's not going to help you if you don't enforce them and have them work best for you. You may not do them the way I share them, but you may want to curtail them and have it mesh with your existing environment and to see how well that would work for you. Okay, so what I do may not necessarily work for you, pretty much is what I'm saying. So if you'd like to learn more about me, please log on to holisticwellbeing.com. That's WHOLELISTIC, wellbeing.com. And there you can get a peek at my website and find out why I'm so passionate about what I do. Gloria, I just saw you pop up. Thank you for joining. And so check that out. But beyond that, if you don't mind, share this live with someone else that you feel can use the information or that it may be valuable to them, maybe a friend or family member, and have them see it for themselves. There's one thing you explaining it to them, but it's another thing when they watch it for themselves. All right? Because I will be back on tomorrow to speak a little bit more on this process on creating strong families. But in the meantime, they can actually get a tidbit as to how this can help them as well. If you love what you saw tonight, click the love button and also comment. I love to see when you comment because I'm not able to interact with you readily so I can see what's going on. However, when I logged on tonight, I have to tell you, it looks like Facebook changed some things and they've upgraded how they're doing their Facebook streaming process. And for whatever reason, it would not come on my iPad. All right, you had to click a bunch of different buttons, but it looks like now we may have the capability of comfortably doing split screens and a lot of nice fun things. But I had to revert back to my other source as far as getting this live done until I get that down pat. But I wanted to share that with you. So I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you tuning in. I do pray that you are being very, very safe with your family wherever you are in this entire world right now. And make smart choices and stay in prayer. Just stay in prayer. Consistently look up at God because He sees everything that's happening right now. And He is the only one at this point that can make things work in the direction that we want to see it work. All right, Manuel, it's wonderful to see you. And Gloria, I think I saw Mr. Ted pop up. It's hard for me to see the viewers if you don't comment. Blessings to you all, and thank you so much for joining. I will be back tomorrow again, day 485 to do these lives. But until then, you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening. Ciao.